Welcome to the Cutting Matters podcast. You join us for episode 4. I'm Alistair and I'm joined by Ellen.
Hello, everybody.
Ellen's had an eventful weekend this weekend.
Yeah, it's been eventful, but I did enjoy it as well. So
I think you're mad. I wouldn't have done it.
so just jump on right in. I'll tell the story, but I don't think I can make it a short story. You know, a long story short.
It's all right. This is a podcast. People get to know us a bit better.
So yeah, if it runs over time, we'll just crop this bit out, and it'll just sound like I really want to do it. So for Christmas, you know, you can get them experience days.
Like a red letter day thing.
Yeah, similar to that. Like it was a voucher. I don't know what it's called. But yeah, my brother gave me and my sister. So I've got a younger sister and an older brother. So for Christmas, he gave me and my sister these 2 golden envelopes. So we were thinking, ooh, what could this be? But my brother said, you can choose which one you want.
Was it a lucky dip Christmas present?
Yeah, so we didn't have a clue what was even in these cards at this point. It was just 2 golden cards.
Right.
So me being, you know, older than my sister, I was like, oh, you can pick. You decide which one you want. So she picked one. I had the other one. And then my brother started laughing. So I was thinking, what the heck? I should have picked mine first. And then on Christmas Day, I know.
Too nice and generous.
On Christmas Day, we then got told to record our reactions. So obviously something wasn't going to be good when we opened this envelope, was it?
Love it.
Evil. So on Christmas Day, we recorded this reaction. We opened ours first, which was a gift for me and my boyfriend to do a bungee jump for 2. So that was literally my worst nightmare. I honestly couldn't think of anything worse.
Like heights?
I don't mind heights, but jumping off like a cliff or jumping off a crane. I see videos online, you know, just when you're just like scrolling, and I've seen it before now, and I was like, that is not going to happen.
That's not my bag.
In a million years. And then once I did watch them videos, I did have nightmares about them. So the fact I was gifted a bungee jump
it's your worst nightmare.
My worst nightmare. I think it was a bit nicer that it was a jump for 2, so you were together, but still wasn't impressed at all. And then just to, you know, make things even better, my sister opened hers for her and her boyfriend to go to a 5-star hotel for a couple of nights.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah, so that was great.
So she got pampered in a nice 5-star hotel and you got chucked off a platform in Manchester.
But the funny thing about it was is my brother actually bought the bungee jump for me and my boyfriend, and the hotel for my sister and her boyfriend.
Okay.
And it was just by chance that my sister chose that one and we got the bungee jump.
So it wasn't just a bungee jump, was it? Because what happened when you got, well, it was called something, wasn't it?
It was called a lover's leap.
How romantic.
So yeah, yesterday we went to Manchester and did the bungee jump. And for weeks now, I've been putting it off. Everyone's been saying, oh, you're looking forward to your bungee jump. And I'm just brushing it off. No, not looking forward to it.
You didn't seem very enthused on Friday when you left here, to be honest.
Do you know what? I was really nervous. Like, I'm actually getting like nervous talking about it. My palms are sweating. So yeah, the day came, we went up to Manchester. A couple of my boyfriend's family members went. My family went as well. And we're putting the harnesses on. We looked up at this crane and people were just getting chucked off the crane, and it was so scary. I was looking up like, oh no.
So what did the lover's leap entail?
So we got put on a crane. We got harnessed together, me and my boyfriend. We had to like hug, keep tight.
So you're strapped together, stood on the platform with a massive elastic band around your feet?
Yeah, strapped by your feet. So that's where all the ropes are connected on your ankles. I had to take my shoes off as well. So I instantly felt like, oh no, I'm literally going to go for a swim. So it was over a bit of a lake.
Was it in Salford?
Yeah, Salford Keys.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
it's over a bit of a lake. So we thought, you know, if anything, worst case scenario, we would just go for a swim together.
That's extreme diving, that is.
So, yeah, we went on this crane. The crane went 160 feet up. But the crane, when you stepped on it, was so rocky. I was feeling sick straight away when we got on it. As it started lifting up, it was just rotating, like spinning around and moving. I couldn't look down.
As Christmas presents go, this sounds like a great one and a horrendous one at the same time.
Honestly, revenge is sweet, they say, right? So I'm gonna have to come back with something, but I'm not gonna say what because my brother listens to this podcast. But I'm coming for you.
There you go, you've been warned. So, but you enjoyed the experience, though.
Yeah. So we got up there, and everything was recorded as well, which was quite cool.
Yeah, my sister-in-law did a skydive a couple of years ago, and it was all recorded. It was awesome.
Yeah, I think a skydive is much better though, because you're not going head first, are you? And that's what it was, head first.
Well,
So the guy said, which way do you want to go out of the crane? Do you want to go backwards or do you want to go forwards? So originally I said, I want to go backwards because I don't want to see anything. And then he looked at me and I thought, that's the worst way to go out, isn't it? And he went, yeah. So then I instantly changed. I was like, right, I want to go forward. So he counted us in. He went like 3, 2, 1 and then pushed us. Not pushed us, but like held us to go.
yeah.
See ya. And then it was the worst feeling in the world. It's just a free fall. It was just so scary. We're just going.
Is it violent when you get to the bottom? Does it like?
No. Do you know what? It's not.
not?
I thought it would be, but it was really pleasant. It wasn't like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like, you know, a bouncy castle and you're just bouncing. It's just pleasant.
Yeah.
It was just like that. You just bounce back up and go
I always thought it'd
down.
be really violent when you got to the bottom, like a proper snap.
I thought it was going to be, but the other day I was in the gym and I pulled a muscle in my back and I thought, oh great, I can't even get out of doing this bungee jump even though I've got a sore back. And I was reading all the terms and conditions and it said, if you've got back injury, neck injury, please do not take part in this activity. And I was looking at the board and I was looking at my boyfriend and I was thinking, don't think this is a good idea to do this. But it didn't hurt or...
Oh, that's good.
But to be fair, we were like holding each other really tightly. I thought like my eyeball was going to pop out.
Yeah, when you told me the whole process of thing, I thought you were definitely going to come back in with a black eye. Someone's going to definitely headbutt
You had to like proper like tuck yourself in
Oh, okay.
and hold in that position for like 3 bounces.
Right.
And then after 3 bounces, one of you have to hold your arms up. So then the people, when they're pulling you down off the crane onto like this mat, they can guide from them hands onto the mat, and then you get all your straps off, and then it's done.
Awesome.
Literally seconds.
Well,
Seconds.
my weekend was tame compared to that. All I did was go to the football. It was pretty tame.
Well, to be honest, I am feeling quite good this week. Went to the gym this morning, and then there was no avocado in the house, so I popped to the shop, got some avocado, got to work, and had some avocado on toast.
All
with
invigorated.
coffee.
All invigorated for a new week.
Yeah, feeling good. Feeling really good. Feeling good about the rest of the week today and the rest of the week.
Excellent.
So yeah.
Well, we've got today, hopefully, for all you audiophiles out there, an improved podcast experience. We've bought some new toys for the podcast, so hopefully the sound is a lot better. We've had a couple of audio issues over the past couple of weeks, every now and again, a bit intermittently, which we do apologise for. It's gremlins of the system, bugs of the system, and things like that. But hopefully, going forward, this new audio will improve that quite drastically.
Yeah, much improved.
Yeah, but we've got a new format for the podcast as well today. So we are going to, obviously this is new for us. We're only episode 4 in. We are going to be tweaking settings as we go in. We're going to constantly looking to improve. So we've definitely got a new experience, I'd say, for the podcast today, haven't we?
Yeah.
Where were you last week?
Last week, what a busy week that was. I was out on the road. I was in Manchester on Monday, looking at the Brother scan and cut machine, showing another reseller that machine. And I was quite surprised, actually, going in to see that reseller, because it was literally like a huge craft shop.
Okay.
Everybody was just really crafty and just really enthusiastic. It was really a really good experience, really.
How did they take to the Brother machine then? Well?
Yeah, they were looking at the Brother machine anyway, but having seen it in the flesh and seeing it do different applications, quite impressed.
Yeah, the machines...
It's one of those, isn't it, machines? You need to see them...
You see them working.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when we had the 3D printer, when we took it to the craft show and it was on the stand working away, the amount of people that would stop and look at what the 3D printer was doing, it just and off the back of that, people were like, I want one. I don't know why I want one. but I want to buy one. And it was amazing. Just people seeing what the machines can do in the flesh, just always just like a light bulb moment. And people just want to buy it then because they can see them working.
The 3D machines did really well at different shows, didn't they? Because it was something different which nobody else was showing off. And Silhouette kind of dipped their toes in that 3D market, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they had their own little small 3D machine. It's not available anymore.
No, unfortunately.
But it was a good little craft machine.
Yeah, but just the whole experience of people being able to, not just the 3D printers, but that was just an example of, like, from what I'd seen when I've been out at shows and stuff, that always had like a big wow reaction from people. But I don't think watching a video online, as good as video content is, I don't think people, until they see it in the flesh, actually printing something from nothing, get it as well. Like it's more impactful as you see it in the flesh. And it's the same with the cutters and all the different applications that you can do with both the Silhouette machines and the Brother machines.
That. Yeah.
Because with the scan and cut, you've got so many different tools, haven't you? Have you been taking some of the tools out with you?
I haven't, I've only done the standard auto blade, and even that's just amazing, the auto blade itself. But all the other different tools I've not yet got hold of to test out.
Yeah.
But that will be on the to-do list. And
last week we had Declan in, didn't we?
Yes. So we've actually got a podcast with Declan, which will be going live soon.
Yeah, next couple of weeks.
So yeah, we had Declan from Ireland over in our demonstration room, looking at the laser machines, getting a bit more updated on the Graphtec equipment as well.
Yeah.
So that was over 2 days.
That's from Wide Format Solutions, isn't he?
Yeah.
So Declan does installations for us, does a little bit of technical support and servicing if we haven't got an engineer available to go out to Ireland to get over to the machine. So Declan helps us out that way. But yeah, he spent a couple of days with us last week, didn't he? Going over the machines that we've got here, doing a little bit of updated training. And yeah, we were able to, he was quite kind in doing a podcast for us. So we've got what will be our second at that point guest podcast. Our first guest podcast will be coming out next week.
Ooh,
yeah. Well, we sat down a couple of weeks ago and we filmed our first one. So we'll be 5 episodes in. We've got our first guest, which is quite exciting.
Yeah. We've got a lot of ideas in the pipeline, more guests as well. But yeah, it is exciting when we have someone here to talk with, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've timed that because I'm off the rest of this week.
Yeah, you lucky thing.
I know, I've not had much time off this year, so I'm off the rest of this week. So we've already got that in the bag, so we don't have to do much editing for next week when we get back. So yeah, next Tuesday will be our first guest podcast, and that will be with Hayley West, who we worked with for many years with all our crafting products.
It was really good to see Hayley as well.
Yeah.
Really good to find out more about what she's done in the past and what she's up to now. Not really ever sat down with Hayley and had that sort of conversation. So for me, that was really nice meeting Hayley again.
Yeah, she hasn't, obviously with COVID, the situation around that, we've not been able to get people in to talk and have those kind of conversations and actually get to see people. It's so much better. Like, as good as video conferences and video calls and Zoom and Teams are, so much better to just get around a table and have a chat properly.
It is. Yeah, it's normal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's normal. That's a key word there, normal. Right, so this week, as our focus section, we are going to be talking about stone masonry.
Funny enough, I have a customer coming in today to have a look at one of the Graphtec machines for this type of application, so it fits in quite nicely.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
Well, that lucky. That's a good management, I don't know.
So yeah, stone masons. So this is an application where, for people who don't really know what this means, is memorials. So you have granite, say, and you see, all the writing which is on the granite, so people's names, little messages.
Yeah.
That's all been done by sandblasting.
Okay.
So how it links up with our Graphtec machines is there's a specific material which is cut in the Graphtec cutters. It's like this. It's called sandblast rubber.
Yeah.
So you cut out all the designs on that material, and then you take away what you don't need, and then you apply that to the stone, and then you sandblast.
Yeah, just takes away the top.
It just chips away at the first coating of the stone. Then you peel away that stone rubber material. Then you're left with the writing on the memorial.
Yeah, so the rubber, it's quite a thick rubber, isn't it? So basically, it's rubber because it has elasticity. It repels the granules of sand. So rather than the granules of sand cutting through, like what would be a stencil vinyl or a any type of stencil paper or something like that, the rubber acts to rebound the powder, the sand away, so it doesn't deform the rubber as such. So it allows that to stay in place whilst the process is being applied to actually mark onto the granite, onto any type of stone. So you're talking headstones, you're talking memorial pieces of granite and marble and stuff like that, aren't you? That kind of, you see these, especially at football grounds, you see all like patrons of the ground and things. They put their details on, they've sponsored the ground, they bought their seat and things like that. Me being a Liverpool fan, there's loads.
I was wondering how long it would take you to drop that in.
Well, yeah, but you go to Anfield, and although they're done on bricks mainly at Anfield, so I'm not sure if it's exactly the same process that they're using to do it on bricks, but you can see everyone who's bought like a memorial brick and they've got their names, their family names or whatever on there. But it's a very similar process for what we're doing with the stonemasons kit. So you get somebody phone up. What machine are you selling them?
Usually before the 7000, the CE 7000 came about, the FC 9000 FC machine would have been the machine to do the job.
Yeah.
But because of how the C machine's been spec'd out, it is able to cut through that thick rubber material, but it doesn't use the standard blade which a C machine is packaged with.
No.
So you need a different type of blade to be able to cut through that rubber material.
Yeah, so if you are contacting us and you want to buy a machine for this particular process, you can either swap the blade and blade holder out. So C7000s and FC9000s, they both come with a 0.9mm blade, don't they?
Yep.
You can either just choose to keep that with the machine and then buy on top what's called a Mason's kit. So the Mason's kit is a 1.5mm blade and a 1.5mm blade holder, or we can just swap it out. So if that's all you're going to be buying the plotter for, and you don't need that 0.9mm blade, so for no extra cost, we'll just do a like-for-like swap. But if you say you're going to use the machine for some other stuff, whereas 0.9mm blade will become handy, then we can just supply the Mason's kit on top. Obviously an extra cost, but we can supply that on top, can't we?
Mm-hmm. So just explain to everyone what's an actual Mason's kit, what's included in a Mason's kit.
Mason's kit is just a different blade holder, which is a 0.9mm blade holder that comes with the machines. They are black with a blue cap on the bottom where the blade comes out. The 1.5mm blade holders, which is what we use for a Mason's kit, they are black and red. So they've got a black body and they've got a red cap on the bottom where the blade comes out. So you unscrew that to take your blade out when you want to change it. But we can either say include it as well as the machine with the original blade, or you can just do a like-for-like swap out. So that machine is fully catered for stonemasons then.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a show literally focusing at this in the next couple of weeks, haven't you?
Let me get it up on my phone. So the show is the middle of September. It's in Warwickshire. It's called the Trade X22.
Trade X22. Okay.
So here it's a memorial show. So Memorial Mason show, and it's held in a little centre where all different types of stonemasons who are even selling the different templates for stonemasons on the grave, or whether it's software, material, equipment, everyone will be there to showcase what they've got. And
we've got both one reseller that kind of specs the C7000s for this application, and you've got another reseller there who's going to have an FC9000 on the stand, aren't they? So with that, why would you choose a C7000 or an FC9000?
So the majority of the material, the sandblast rubber material, comes in a 610 wide roll.
Yep.
So that's why you'd buy a C7000. But if you have material which is slightly wider, then the FC75 would be best suited. So you've got more width to work with.
Yep.
That's really the only difference with the FC and the CE for this application.
Because there's a massive jump up, isn't there? So with the C7000, if you want to use a slightly wider roll, you have to like double your width of machine, which isn't necessary, is it? So you've got the C7060, which takes a 610 roll, but the next size machine up from that's 1.3 meters, which is just massive, isn't it? So that's why the FC9075's the more logical step, because you're going to buy a machine which is going to use the media better, isn't it? You're going to cater for that particular roll size.
Because of the thickness of the material as well, with an FC machine, you can add another pinch roller onto it. So if it does kind of, in the middle of the material, lifts, you have another pinch roller then to help guide it flat through the machine.
Yeah.
Which a C machine, you can't
Not
do.
at that size, no. I think we covered this a little bit with the accessories and consumables podcast last week. I think it was last week. The smaller sizes of CE machines, you can't add any extra pinch rollers to. You can with the wider formats, but as you've just said, if you do have any issues with the weight of the media and things on the FC starting to kind of buckle slightly, you can add pinch rollers to all widths of the FC 9000 machines, which will aid to keep the media nice and flat as it goes through.
Yeah.
Who do you want to say on the podcast?
Yeah.
Who's there?
Shout out.
Give a shout out.
So the two resellers which we're gonna have our equipment on is the Blast Shop,
yeah,
and Whisson UK.
Okay.
So they're gonna have both our equipment on their stand. The trade show is free to access. It's over 2 days, so it's on the 15th of September and the 16th of September. So that's a Thursday and a Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll be there both days as well. So if anyone wanted to come along and had questions or want to pick our brains with the equipment and application, then I'll be there to speak with.
And which reseller's got which machine?
At the moment, the Blast Shop will have the C7000 and Whisson UK will have the FC9000.
Okay, great. Are you taking? Are you taking any media from here to that, or just using?
They supply their
they're
own.
just supplying their own media. Yeah. Okay. Cool. We've got our Ask Ellen section, and we've had a customer ask. They've just changed their blade in their machine, but it hasn't rectified. The cut has been degrading for a while. They've changed their blade and it's actually made it worse. Why would that be?
That could be because of the cutting strip as well. It also, you need to check as well, if they change the blade, that there's no debris in the actual blade holder. That's one thing to double check. Make sure that's clean. Because sometimes when you're cutting out vinyl, for instance, because it's like tacky, isn't it, sticky back, that can sometimes lift and go into the little gap where the blade is in the holder. So it's always great just to check that that's clean.
Yep.
Another thing to be checked is the cutting strip. So when you're cutting out material over time, there'll be, dependent on how you set your blade up, there'll be indents into the cutting strip. So if that's really been indented, then that will help if you were to change that.
Yeah. The cutting strips on the machines are a sacrificial part. So
yeah, they are.
They're there to stop your blade getting eaten by, if it was just a metal sheet underneath it and you went too far, well, you just chip your blade and then you'd be cutting into your machine. So the cutting strips are Teflon, which allows the blade to basically penetrate into the actual cutting strip when if you do accidentally cut too far through your media, rather than damaging your machine, you cut into the cutting strip. But what over time will happen is you'll leave a groove in that cutting strip. So if you put a new blade, if you're seeing like your cut deteriorate in terms of quality, your circles aren't quite circles anymore, or you're getting jagged edges on letters and things like that, what's happening is most probably your blade is picking up a groove in the cutting strip. And with that, if you think, I need to change my blade because that's what's causing the problem, a new blade actually makes the situation worse. So because you've got a sharper point on the end of it, it actually picks up those grooves a lot more, which means you think you've changed your blade and you're going to instantly go back to having an amazing cut, and it actually could make it worse. So the cutting strips aren't, well, they're not, you don't have to change them every time you change your blade, do you?
No, you don't. You'll definitely see if you were to look at your cutting strip whether it needs changing or not. You'll see them indented lines, but every time you change your blade, you don't need to change your cutting strip. So nobody needs to worry about that.
No, I say every kind of, it's worth, when you got to change your blade, it's worth checking though, isn't it? So it's worth rubbing, like just running your thumbnail over your cutting strip to feel if you can feel any.
Yeah, it's just like general maintenance of the machine, isn't it? Make sure your blade's not blunt, checking your cutting strips not, in a horrible condition. So
Yeah.
it's just keeping an eye on things.
There's only 3 main consumables of the plotter, isn't there? So you got your blade, your cutting strip, and just keep an eye on your pinch rollers. Make sure they haven't gone squidgy or they've dried out. Depending on the environment, they either do 2 things. Because it's a rubber pinch wheel on the machine, on the environment, they either go gooey, and that can leave black lines on your media as it's going through because it's leaving a sticky residue, or they can actually dry up and go really hard, which then stops the media from being held down properly. But with the cutting strips, you can normally see, because it leaves like a white residue on it, doesn't it? Like the fibres on the cutting strip. When if there are grooves, you can actually see them visually picking up. So yeah, change your blade. You're not getting the cut that you would think from changing your blade. It's actually made it worse than change your cutting strip, isn't it?
Yeah, and also look at your settings as well on your machine, because sometimes if you have too much force, again, that could be the reason why.
It was a good point about when this question came in. I didn't actually think about debris being caught in your in the blade holder.
Yeah, it's one of the things that people don't really think about. But yeah, always do check that.
How do you go about checking it?
So what you do is you got your blade holder, you got that screw tip which is either blue or red. You just twist that off and then just take your blade out or push your blade through and just blow it away or just wipe it away with a brush.
Okay.
And then put it back in.
So that if that, I'm guessing if that's clogged, it's going to stop the blade from the new blade holders. It's pretty important you do this because they're pre-sprung, whereas the old blade holders, so when I say new blade holders, if you've got a new blade holder, then the adjuster on the top is black and where the blade comes out the bottom of the blade holder is coloured.
Yeah.
On the older style, from the older machines, which you used to buy a blade and a spring for, the whole body of the blade holder is black and the screw adjuster at the top is the colour. But so that determines, so if you look on our website when you're looking to buy blades and you see the option for with spring or without spring, that's what you're looking for. So just to reiterate, if you're looking for a new blade, and you're not sure if you need a blade with a spring or blade on its own, if you've got a black blade holder and the screw cap at the bottom is blue or red, then you don't need to buy a spring with your blade because that blade holder is pre-sprung. But I'm guessing if where that spring element in the bottom of the blade holder is getting full of debris, then it's going to have another derogatory like factor on your cut, isn't it? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Cutting Matters podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, then feel free to drop us a comment and leave us a like. If you haven't already, then please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification when doing so you get notified every time we upload more content. If you're listening on podcast providers, be that Spotify or Apple Podcasts, we'd really appreciate it if you could leave us a rating. But for now, thanks for joining us on the Cutting Matters podcast, and we'll see you again soon.